you tell me. We're doing Mark. You're doing Hola, welcome. Welcome to West Coast Pullers, subsidiary of Pure Money Pulling Team. And tonight we have Dr. Mark Zahns.
Hey, everybody.
A couple tractor guys over there. And then the Joker, Jason Ingham, with half two-wheeler.
Yep.
Of course, the normal Oregon boy. We got to let him in.
Someone's got to represent up here.
Thank God it's you, buddy.
Well, I don't know about that.
And then we got John Board, who has his mic on mute.
Yeah. He's ignoring us.
There he goes. There's our hostess with the mostest.
His internet must be slow today.
Your internet sucks, bud. Anyways, so we'll start off with Dr. Mark Zahns. And tell us about when you got started pulling, and give us a history.
God, how much time you got? You know?
We got all night.
We got an hour.
Okay.
We can go as long as we want, man.
Nick might need a nap, but so
Right.
I went to the first tractor pull. That, my understanding, it was the first tractor pull in California. Pauly Royal, 1972.
Wow.
And, you know, back then it was all stock tractors out of the field and so on. And then when I started at Cal Poly in 1976, I got involved with the Cal Poly pull team. Now, back then, the pull team was a sled team. It wasn't a tractor team. It was a sled team. And we would take the sled all over the state. And I can remember doing a bunch of mechanic work on the sled, changing things to make it easier to get out of the hole with it and so on. So, I kind of got involved with the sled stuff very, very early on. And then, of course, I graduated from Cal Poly and went up to UC Davis to get my master's and doctorate. And then when I came back and started teaching, it wasn't very long that 3 of my design class students came to me and they told me they wanted to build a pull tractor, and I told them they were freaking crazy to even consider. And so, this design class, we actually work on projects sponsored by companies from off campus. So these 3 kids come in my office and they said, "Hey," we actually work on projects sponsored by companies from off campus. These 3 kids. I'm hearing an echo here.
Yeah, there's an echo.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so these kids said they want to build a tractor, and I said, you know what? If you can guarantee me that you're going to get this thing 100% financed off campus, I'll let you do it. And I felt pretty certain that it wasn't going to happen, right? The next day, Miles Anderson Logging out of Fort Bragg, he came in my office, real soft-spoken, and he said, I got a sponsor, and we don't need any more. And I said, "Here's my air compressor." I said, "You're crazy. What's going on?" He says, "Well, my dad gave me the credit card and said go to it." So we built that first tractor, Mustang Fever, and then I had to build my own, and the rest is history. You guys know the rest. That's it. I'm stuck.
That's it. So, John, do you have a way of putting up a picture of bailout, or
what's that?
I asked John if he had a way.
Yeah, it's I'm working on that right now.
Work on it, okay. To give everybody an idea what tractors we're talking about here,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I tell you what. As soon as my compressor kicks off here, I'll just walk back in the shop and I'll point the phone at the tractor.
Yeah.
Just about done here.
That'd probably be quicker than John.
Here.
There it is.
Hey, there it is.
There, he got it. There's bailout. That's Mark Zahn's tractor.
It's blurry, but we got it.
A little blurry because it's moving so fast. See?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's moving fast. It's So what's the engine in that?
Let's see what's in that. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Let me turn a light on. Oh, there you go. You got it there.
Yeah, John's got it there. What engine's in that now, Mark?
That's a stock, well, semi-stock Allison 1710. Okay, it's a V12 engine that from the 1940s, and they put that engine in the P38 Lightnings, the P39 Airacobras, the P40 Warhawk, and the early P51 Mustangs. And the only thing that I've changed on that engine is I adapted Mallory Super Mag 3s to it, and then I built my own distributors using Jaguar V12 distributor caps. But everything else on it is stock. It's stock, and those engines are just the neatest thing.
What's the horsepower rating on that?
Well, in the airplanes, they were rated at about 1,500.
Wow.
And the thing is, the governor on the prop drive was governed at 2,800 RPM. So 2,800 RPM was the max you could do. In the cockpit, there's a glass vial, and if someone was shooting your butt off, you could bust that glass vial, and there was no more governor, and you could do whatever you needed to do to get home.
Oh, no way.
Oh, wow.
And if the crew chief, very first thing, he'd take a look in the cockpit, and if that glass vial was busted, immediately the engine would come out, and they would put in a rebuilt or a brand new engine.
Oh, wow.
So 1,500 horsepower at 2,800 RPM. I run this thing about 4,000 RPM.
Wow.
Wow.
You go beyond 4,500, then you start playing games with rod bolts. The rod bolts are thing.
Start really testing the equipment, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
But
Well,
they're just, they're the neatest engine, I think. It's and to think about the history, it just blows me away.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And working on them is really cool because all of the fasteners, the spacing between the valve cover bolts, everything was in increments of a quarter of an inch. Okay. And that's because when they were machining all these parts, they more than likely had women running the lathes and the mills, and one turn on the screw is 250 thousandths. That's a quarter of an inch. And so everything is on a real clean increment as far as hole spacing and hole patterns and all that. It's
Awesome.
really cool.
They gave enough room for everything. They didn't take the tolerances, put them too tight, and man, that's what made them run so good, huh?
Oh yeah. Those, they're pretty loose. They're pretty
Put
loose.
that thick oil in there, you'd be all right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
How many passes have you gotten out of that before since you rebuilt?
I had to rebuild it my very first year, and that was in 2001, because one of the return lines for the oil from the top of the heads was not plumbed in right. So I went through it in 2001, and I think, I think the Urington pull this last weekend was number 400.
Wow.
Wow.
What?
But,
That's awesome.
but you got to kind of pay attention to things.
Holy crap.
You guys, your Chevrolets won't go that long, will it?
Wow.
I change the oil once a year, whether I need to or not.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Well,
I
not
do-
alcohol, so
We're running the wrong motors, man. Holy crap.
Hey, super modified class. Maybe we can put some in a truck. You know what I mean?
There was a 4-wheel drive puller back in the late 70s that had an Allison in his truck.
Joe Martin.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, the Artesian.
Yeah.
Artesian.
Yeah.
He
You know,
bought
they-
that. He bought a tractor from Phil Souza. Phil Souza was from Turlock. Phil Souza is Bob Gioletti's brother-in-law. Bob Gioletti, you guys
Godfather.
remember The Godfather?
Oh yeah.
And so that guy bought the tractor from Phil Souza, pulled the engine off, put the engine in his pickup truck.
Yeah, I heard Ron Mealing used to tell me some good stories about Joe. After the polls, I guess he was quite the event that night. You know, a lot of women around, good times. You know, but yeah, Alice, I got some pictures of that truck from I believe from Salinas from 1980 when he
Wow.
just painted it gold with the Allison in it.
Wow.
Yeah,
awesome.
pretty cool.
How
Good
cool.
times.
That
Good
is awesome.
times.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, are you guys ready for the next? With John trying to get back on. Anyways, let's move on to the next tractor. Hey, Nick,
Yes, sir.
tell us about Semper Fi.
Well, the guy sitting below me is the one that got me into this sport.
That dirty rat.
We moved into
Son of
San
a
Luis,
gun.
and they had a little neighborhood group.
There it
And
is.
so we got to meet everybody when we moved in here. I heard what he was doing, and he invited me to as pit crew to a couple of pulls, which worked out nice. And then all of it, when the West Coast Nationals, the first ones came out,
Huh?
he said, I need you and my partner to take the tractor. I can't go to Stockton. And that was one of the major part of the polls.
Right.
So he gives me a 5-minute lesson on how to start this thing in his driveway.
That's all.
And then we take off for Stockton.
Oh boy.
He had 2 rules. He said, don't go over 4,000 RPM, and don't go out of bounds. That seemed pretty simple.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
Not
I-
on
I
2
ran
wheels.
the 72 on 2 wheels.
2 wheels is easy.
Yeah. Not on
What's
2
that?
wheels.
Yeah, 2 wheels is easy, right? Yeah, they tell everybody that.
Yeah.
So I ran it in the 7,200-pound class, and about halfway down the track, the freaking steering wheel comes off on my hands.
Oh no, damn.
So
Don't need
you know,
that.
my first reaction is that the other hand is on the throttle to grab the steering wheel, and immediately I said, "You stupid shit!" So I put my hand back on the throttle.
I've never done that before.
So the sled stops, and then the track judge comes up to me and says, let's go. And I hold the steering wheel in my hand. So I just started going and just used the brakes to get off the track. And then Leo comes up to me. I showed him the thing. We tried to figure out how to put it back on, so he'd run it in the 8. So that's how I got interested. And then Leinfelter's had a single hair dryer. So with my tribute to the Marine Corps, I said, well, I can't just do 1, and they put flames on there, so let's just do 2.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I contacted Tim Arfons. Mark and I went back with my horse trailer and the truck, picked up the 2 engines, picked up a set of tires.
So
Had a
those-
great trip.
were those all
Got a fantastic tour of the Cat manufacturing plant while we were back there.
Right on.
Peoria, Illinois.
Yeah, unfortunately, when we were there, Art wasn't feeling well, so I didn't get a chance to meet him.
Oh, bummer, man.
Are
Yeah.
those engines off of one of his tractors?
No,
No.
no. Tim had these they're T58-3s.
Huh.
And he just had them sitting around. So we put those in the trailer and picked up my tires and headed back to California.
Nice.
Wow. How
And
much
then-
horsepower each one of those?
What's that?
How much horsepower in each one of those?
The -3s were right around 1,250,
Nice.
and I've since upgraded because all the blown V8 guys kept beating me, so I had to upgrade the -8s.
Nice.
And
Wow.
they're putting out about roughly 1,580
Nice.
at
Nice.
80%.
Man, I always love
Governed at 110%. If you can get that thing between 90 and 110, you pick up, gosh, sometimes anywhere from 400 to 500 more horsepower on each engine.
Wow.
But it's just a split. It's a couple seconds on the track.
Wow.
You guys always run hard. I know. I love watching that tractor for sure. Always runs good.
Why was that tractor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, the whole thing with Semper Fi is my time in the Marine Corps, and those are Huey helicopter engines.
Oh, cool.
And so, which I spent my time in Vietnam in.
Well, thank you for your service.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank
you're
you, man.
welcome.
My dad was there also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Thank you, man. Yep.
What
on.
year?
69.
Oh, geez.
Yep.
He was there right after 10th then, huh?
Yep. Army.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hey, but he served,
Yep.
Not everybody can be a Marine, but I appreciate all the guys that did serve.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
when I went down to Simpson, I said, I need a fire suit that looks like my dress blues. And they
Yeah.
kind of scratched their heads. So we put something together, and they put the blood stripe on the trousers right there that day. And they already had the jacket with the red piping on it. And they took a picture of me in that thing, and it was on the wall for a long time down at Simpson's.
That's neat.
Oh,
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, cool.
So, but when we brought those engines back, the frame was a senior project for a Cal Poly engineering student. The front steering was a senior project. I bought that from the school, brought it to Mark's shop, bought the crossbox and the transmission from Profab. And Mark built everything else. He fabricated. It was like 2 years of weekends and nights.
He's
He
pretty
did make it work
Awesome.
to bring that thing out.
That's awesome.
Heard he's a pretty handy guy.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
And the thing that really pissed off Fagundes was that West Coast Nationals, we didn't have the frame painted, just the fenders and the rims. And we won the 7,200-pound division.
Oh, wow. Nice. Nice. It's always nice to get a win with those guys.
Yeah, and the Dash 10s we found back in Georgia. I had a Marine buddy of mine that found them. He was a senior NCOIC at Pendleton for the T-58 shop. And when the Marine Corps decided to shit can the 58s, they pretty much decided he was going to retire. But he met us there in Georgia. The guy had a dyno. And he told us to bring some kind of a pressure system to test the fuel control module, because if those leak, there's no point in putting the engine on the dyno, because nobody can fix them. They can tell you what's wrong with them on a flow bench, but nobody's out there wants to fix them. So we did that, and you guys wouldn't believe, these things sat in the desert for 20 years, pickled
Wow.
with 1010 oil. And within the first 2 minutes on the dyno, they lit.
Wow.
Smoked like hell, getting all that oil out of there.
Yeah.
And my Marine buddy's out by the dyno, and we're in the doghouse with the guy with the controls, and he gets to 80%, and he goes like this to Chris, and Chris doesn't know.
Oh, yeah.
Keep going.
Because they're FAA certified back there, so that's what they do.
Yeah.
We finally convinced him after about 5 minutes of running this thing to get it up to where we hit almost 110%. But the guy was sweating bullets.
Wow.
And my Marine buddy's standing there right next to it with his set of headphones on, just dialing it in.
Wow.
That's awesome,
we-
man.
We threw those in the back of my truck, and that's what's on the tractor now.
That's
Awesome.
so cool.
When
Awesome.
you went back to Tim Arfon's place, did he ever talk about his funny car? Was it still laying around that he used to run?
We didn't see that, did we, Mark?
No.
Yeah, Green Monster. That was the one he ran for years when he was doing the USHRA stuff, when they were doing all the indoor pulls. And I think Dusty's still around. I don't know if she pulls anymore, right?
That's his daughter.
Yeah, that was Art's daughter. Yeah, she had the Dragon Lady, was a single engine turbine.
Yeah,
And we didn't get to meet her back there either.
it feels so cool. You got to go back there.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah.
It's a good
Yeah.
one. I like it. Real good.
Yeah, for sure.
So if Mark and Nick, if you guys could drive any pulling rig, what would it be? Any pulling rig at all? Anybody's? Whose would it be? And
I don't know. I've always been keen on the smokers.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are Those are awesome.
Yeah.
The tractor.
My wife is still pissed at Alan LaBelle because when he sold the 80-20 that he had,
Uh,
my daughter and my wife wanted that tractor so bad,
oh
but it didn't happen.
Yeah.
no. What about you, Mark?
I'm thinking, man.
Boy.
That's a tough question. I think, I've driven Poly Thunder a number of times when I was still teaching at Cal Poly, and that's shake, rattle, and roll. That's a good time. Nick's tractor is the smoothest one out of any of the ones that I've driven, and so I probably like driving his more than the others, because it's got power steering, it's got power brake,
Oh
all this
That he built.
stuff that it drives itself.
wow. Yeah.
So I would have to say Nick's tractor. Yep.
Right on.
Right on. No multi-engine rigs.
Didn't do too well in Ukiah, but whatever.
Oh, that's pulling. You just
That's pulling, man. Load up and go to the next one, man.
Yep.
Well, that's the beauty of the turbines. Is it? You asked Mark.
Mark, tell us a little bit about the
What's that?
Tell us about Cal Poly. The Poly Royal.
Mark talk. Yeah, tell us a little bit about the Cal Poly days.
Oh man, well, like I'd said earlier, that first pull was, with a step-on skid pan. You guys probably are old enough to remember the step-on skid pan is a big steel pan with a kind of a water ski on the front and 8 feet wide and about 20 feet long, and the tractor would take off with an empty skid pan, and they'd have about 300 people lined up on the track, and they would step onto that skid pan, making it harder and harder to pull.
Wow.
So they built the first sled in 1973 at Cal Poly. And when I started as a student in 76, I helped make changes to the sled, primarily with Gary Weisenberger. Gary was in on that whole thing from ground level. And so
Trucker's Trouble.
Trucker's Trouble. Yep.
That's right. They built Trucker's Trouble in 78. But in
Wow.
76 is when they built the first mini sled. So the big sled was in 73. The first mini sled was 76. Trucker's Trouble was in 78. And then I helped Gary build the second mini sled in 1981, right before I moved up to UC Davis. And then the sled that he has used, actually recently retired, that one I helped him build in the late 80s, 89, somewhere in that. So there's a kind of a rich history with pulling and Cal Poly.
Oh yeah.
It goes way back, and there's a lot of students that have kind of been through that experience, and students learn how to weld, they learn how to run a lathe, they learn how to run a mill, they learn all kinds of really
That's awesome, man.
good skills, and it's the whole pulling thing is still alive at Cal Poly.
Oh yeah.
Trevor Massetti is the student president for the
Right on.
and God, there's a bunch of students that are really into this thing, and I could see it continuing on. When I retired, some of you guys may remember Garrett Forbes. Garrett was a Cal Poly student, and then he continued to teach after he graduated.
Right.
He was going to be the advisor to the team, but his wife got a teaching offer up in Eureka, and that's where they're from. So they were kind of looking, what do we do, and I told him, I said, look, you got to do what's right for yourself. I mean, the teaching position is what you've dreamed about. And so they moved up to Eureka, and so Cal Poly is kind of looking for another gearhead kind of faculty member who
Yeah.
kind of help with the team.
Yeah.
I try to help the kids with the tractors as much as I can, but
Man, that's cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
but
so
it's a rich history right there. Let me tell you.
Whatever happened with those old sleds,
Well,
like Trucker's Trouble and the mini sleds? Whatever happened with those sleds?
Trucker's Trouble, I think. See now, Gary Weisenberger, he had to clean out his family ranch over in Porterville, and he had a whole bunch of his stuff stashed over there. And I think he brought a lot of it over here. And so the first mini sled actually got scrapped out about a year ago. He cut it up for scrap. Trucker's Trouble is still, it's either still sitting over there or it's over here somewhere.
Mm.
The Cal Poly, the original Cal Poly sled is
Big
still sitting in a field on campus.
Oh wow.
that's a big one.
And Gary's the big sled and his mini sled, he's got those stashed at somebody's property here in San Luis.
Mm.
So all those sleds, with the exception of the first mini sled, are still in existence.
Right on.
Yeah. I'm not sure
That's neat.
how functional they are, but
Right. Yeah.
Well, there was some legalities as far as why he couldn't sell them or why he couldn't.
Well, first off, it doesn't have a windshield. That big one he has, the recent ones, I don't know how he didn't get pummeled with rocks and dirt, man. It's just,
Yeah, he had some Lexan in front of him.
oh, did he?
yeah, it did.
Oh,
It did
okay.
have. It had a windshield that you had to pull a couple of pins and then you could kind of slide it up a bit.
Oh, okay.
Right above
Most of the time,
windshield.
he didn't have it up.
He got too lazy and he never.
Yeah.
put it up.
Dirt, boy. Very little dirt, boy.
Man, it doesn't take a very big rock to knock you out, man.
Yeah.
Especially coming from your guys' tractors, Holy crap.
That sled. Let me tell you, that sled. Let me see. It had 2-speed rear end on the ground, and then it went up through a 4-speed Brownie, and then a 13-speed, and then a 2-speed
Yeah,
rear end at the back. There were
Holy
over
crap.
400 different gear combinations. For
Yeah,
Wow.
he had.
And
Jeez.
I remember one night Gary says, "I'm going to give you a homework assignment." I said, "What do you want me to do?" And he says, "I want you to set up a spreadsheet that has all the damn gears."
No way. No way.
And he wanted them all sorted so that he could just look at it and yeah, I want the weight box to top out 30 feet sooner. And so he could look at the spreadsheet and go, "Oh, well, I just shift the 4-speed from 3rd to 4th or something like that,
See, that was before computers, so you had to do it all with paper, right?
Yeah,
Well,
figure
no,
it all out.
I did an Excel spreadsheet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That was right after they invented pencils.
Right.
Oh, yeah, right. Whatever. Rogue. Oh, well, that's cool. That's a cool story.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Very. So, what's your guys' plan? What's your next show?
Well,
What's the other?
have Winham. We're going to Winham. You
Oh,
talking
are you?
to me or who you talking to?
Yeah, you, Mark.
Uh,
Coming back to Nevada again?
Winnemucca is the next. Everyone gives me a hard time about how I pronounce. How do you pronounce that town?
Winnemucca.
Winnemucca.
Winnemucca. I was putting the
Winnemucca.
emphasis on the wrong syllable.
No.
That's the next one. I think we're going to take mine, but we're not going to have Nick's put back together in time. It's going to take a little bit more time for Engler to get those needle bearing setups for these planetaries. See, that one is that's a week from Sunday, I think. Right,
Yeah.
Nick?
It is a week from Sunday.
Yeah, we leave next Friday.
All right, on. So you're gonna spend some money in Nevada on your way there.
Us old timers, we gotta drive for a half hour and then we have to find a restroom.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay. We'll see you up there. I will.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, heck yeah. Always fun up there. Right on.
Yeah, we're gonna go to Madera Friday night and then caravan with Brian
Oh, nice.
Saturday
Nice.
morning.
Right on.
Yeah, it's an MLM show up there the weekend after, or the Sunday after this one.
Yeah.
Labor Day weekend actually is Sunday, and be a good show up there with Brian.
Yeah.
So now move on to the legendary historian,
Yeah.
Mr.
Mr. Pitcher
Jason
Man.
Ingham,
Jason Gish. No.
No.
who remembers everybody's truck and what year they were born.
No shit. It's so true.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I'm not that far off, but yeah.
No.
So tell us, Jason, when did you get involved in pulling?
First pull I watched was 1980 in Klamath Falls, Oregon. I was 7 years old. We lived up there then. Dave Matthews had NFPA and brought. There were several no tractors, but John Shipman was up there and Rosen and Ron Mealing and Dennis Marston. And that was the first time I seen a super modified truck.
Yeah.
And it was weird because I was into mechanics when I was younger, I thought, and then I seen a guy show up with an orange truck and had two motors bolted together, and I'm thinking, as a kid, how in the hell did he do that?
Under a hood, even. Yeah.
Yeah. There's two motors in there. What's going on here? So, that was the actual first pull I watched, and I don't think I missed a year since then. And then actually finally was able to get a truck 10 years ago, and we got it going. And I'm so happy to be here because pulling people out of all the motorsports I've done are the best. I mean, they'll help anybody, and so awesome, man. I've always loved it. Something about pulling to me is always just appealed because you're not just, and we drag race for a long time, but the pulling, it's different. There's a lot more than just horsepower. There's a lot more you got to do. So that was the first pull I ever went to, was 1980. And actually Gish's dad was there with Double Ugly.
Yeah.
He had a 454 in it. I think I still have some videos on that. So
Yeah.
Or he was running around in diapers even.
Right. Yeah, I think that was back when Bob Jones would run the 4,500 pound class, and then my grandpa would run the 5,200 class, or vice versa. One of the two, I can't remember which, but yeah. They run it in two different classes.
There was a lot of guys in that 4,500 pound class. I mean, even the short wheelbase guys back then were doing, Revenue and Carl Heap and and all those guys too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. So tell us about Half Breed.
Well, Half Breed's been down a little bit this year. She tried to kill me at Dixon. Somehow the kill switch got pulled, and I was up in the air, and it dropped and slammed my back down. But I fixed some stuff. Then I just got a new needle cross for the rear end. I just finished putting in, so it should help with the steering. Unfortunately, this year was kind of bad. We had my sister passed away, and I have 3 friends that passed away. So one of those years that you just can't get away from, that we're bouncing back from. But we're going to shoot for Santa Rosa in September. I'm not sure if we can make Sublimity or not, but I hope so. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, it's
the same weekend as Santa Rosa. So.
Oh, I'll probably just make Santa Rosa, and then after work's done, move on to next year. But yeah, Half Breed was John Harris's truck. He built that in 1982, I think. And when we got it, it was sitting out in a field up in Applegate, Oregon, and rotting away a little bit. And that was one of the trucks I remember growing up watching as a kid. And I thought, man, we got to go get it and save it. They're going to cut it up. So it's been fun. It's been interesting to learn to steer with your feet. I'm not a farmer. I'm a machinist.
Yeah, right.
Learning to do that, it's a little different, when you think you're going to just give a little tap and all of a sudden you got kind of a weird track and give it a little bit too much of a break and you're like, oh shit, here we go. Yeah, but it's been a blast. I absolutely love it, and I'm thankful we're able to do it right now, and it's so good to pull with you guys. It's awesome.
Oh, we love having you around, man.
Heck yeah, that's so cool.
Show and it's always good to see that old rig out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's fun. I would actually, if I could change the name, I know my buddy did a real good job painting it, but I would change the name of that thing because she's a bitch. So, but I can't now, so I'll just leave it.
Well, John Harris, he had that thing figured out, man. He could make that thing stand up and just scream.
Yeah.
Yeah, that truck was so fun to watch. It would stand straight up. It was awesome. Yeah,
I
That
still
thing
talk
is a
to
crowd
John,
pleaser.
and I still talk to John Harris and see that truck was set up for the old Dragon sled, so you already had the weight.
Wait on you. Yeah.
Yeah, the speed sleds, I've had to change a little weight in the front and the back to get it to go down and start coming up a little bit. But yeah, it'd be fun to find the old trucker's trouble and then weight the sled down and just give it a rip and see what happens,
Yep.
Yeah, just lay on it and go.
Takes more passes. You'll get it.
Oh yeah.
I love it. That's why I love pulling. It's like you walk out there and pull your pants down in front of everybody. So some people might laugh, some people might like it. You don't know.
True. Yeah.
Right?
Some days you're a hero, and some days you're not.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. No, it's awesome. You guys, you've done a fantastic job. It looks amazing. It looks absolutely
thanks,
amazing.
man.
Yeah.
A real
I'd
crowd
love to see it in
pleaser.
person.
Better than new.
Soon, man. Yeah, one of these days we'll get up there. I know that's on my bucket list to get up to some Oregon pulls. So we'll see what happens here. Hopefully soon.
Right on. Yep.
So the big question to you, Jason, is if you could drive anybody's rig, whose would it be?
You probably already know this, but it's Desperado.
Yes.
Dennis Marsden's old truck.
Yes.
I don't know how in the hell that guy could see back then, but I remember watching it going, okay, so the truck's at like almost a 90-degree angle, and there's more throttle. He's getting on it more. It's like, okay, I want to drive that.
Right on the
You don't know where it's going. You don't know what the hell's going on. The crowd's going crazy. So, I mean, that's part of it, right?
That was my all-time favorite truck as a kid, man. My favorite truck as a kid. Yeah.
Yeah, actually talking to Mark and Nick, but growing up watching all the pulls on TV, I always thought it'd be pretty awesome to drive Mission Impossible. That many motors, just the way it feels. I mean, it's got to be amazing feeling.
Yeah, for sure.
6 big blown Chevrolets.
Good Lord. Yeah.
Yeah, and man, I mean, he was awesome guy. The stuff he built, I mean, very, very smart, talented guy, machine work, everything else. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That was Banner?
Yeah. No.
Engler.
Tim Engler.
Engler. That's it. Engler. Cool. Awesome. So what's your next show, Jason?
Santa Rosa. I'll be able to make Santa Rosa. I don't know if I'm going to be able to head up to Oregon. We were trying this year, but
it's all right.
Yeah, too much went on this year, and like I said, I'm retiring from the power plant in October, so that's 30 years up there, and then going to help a friend of mine get his machine shop going on the side, so I'll have more time to do pull and do family stuff and hang out with you guys more and get in trouble. Let's get in trouble because it's boring not getting in trouble. We got to
just keep it between the lines, right?
Well, yeah, no, we can't. Yeah, we can't. No cocaine, none of that stuff. But
wow, I can't hang on.
Keep
Nevada. Yeah, I'm gonna make Santa Rosa, and I don't know if we're gonna go down any farther, but yeah, I'm gonna shoot for that with the next one.
Nice. Well, they'll enjoy watching you there, I'm sure.
It'll be fun. We did good there last year. Pretty good track they set up. So yeah. Well, you do the best. Like I said, pull your pants down, let it rip.
A good one for you to make too would be Grants Pass, because that's half breed was big around that. Like Grants Pass, Atlanta Falls. So
that's where it was from, wasn't it? Originally, or
Applegate area, right? Yeah.
Grants Pass, Central Point, where John was from. Yeah.
So that would be cool to get that one back there.
That's cool. Yeah.
You can drive it, Gish. I'll fill.
No.
Real easy.
Hard time driving a 4-wheel drive. You kidding me?
Yeah. Man, I can't put a 4-wheel drive on the track.
Put it down into drive and just go. It's no problem.
Yeah.
Piece of cake.
I've seen it try to beat you up. I don't know if I can handle that.
You'll end up walking like me.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Oh,
All right on.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
I don't know what happened to our host.
He's not interested this night.
He's not interested. Anybody else have any questions for these three? I mean, these guys have a lot of history in pulling. I don't see no questions coming up.
Well, I mean, I would start off with Mark. You know, what's his favorite pull?
I did that already.
Pay attention, John. Jeez.
I did.
The actual event?
Oh, favorite event?
Oh,
Boy, that would be
Yeah.
That would be a tough. That'd be a tough question to answer. You know, God, they're all the venues are so different. Man, I don't know. Gotta have to think about that.
Nick,
They're
what
all
about you?
fun. They're all fun because
All right, Nick.
they're all
Yeah.
different. The tracks are different.
yep.
The tracks are widely different, especially after this last weekend.
Sorry.
Yeah, but
It wasn't my fault, man.
no, it's not your fault.
I tried to get, I got moisture in the track, at least in the Arrington, but we couldn't get it rolled. Sorry.
Did you
Oh,
pull
is
at
it
the
pretty
Cow
rough?
Palace, Mark?
What's that?
Did you ever pull at the Cow Palace?
I've never pulled there, but I went there a couple of times with Gary and the sled. Yeah,
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Thanks.
that was a long time ago. Yeah, that was before I was involved with the tractor. I was more involved with the sled then.
Right.
Nice. What about you, Nick?
I like the short track so I can take the sled out the arena.
Yeah.
Like bullets.
We get hooked up good. It happens at Ukiah
Well-
and Sonora.
Sonora, yeah.
Trying to get all that going through a 16-foot gate is
Plymouth.
my idea of a challenging time.
That's
Yeah.
exciting.
And you only got 15 seconds to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
You guys did really good at Willits several times up there too. You got to make it through
Yeah.
that gate. You know those posts. You
Yeah.
know, those posts you see. Most guys don't realize it unless you're in a two-wheel drive. Those posts get closer when you get to the end of the track.
I know. I turned right by it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did this year, huh? Right on, Chris.
Finally.
I normally don't have to worry about going through the gate because I don't.
Oh,
Oh,
whatever.
come on.
Listen to it. You can look that good sometimes. It's that tire pressure, you know. The way he does his tire pressure. It's amazing to watch.
Chris, all I do, see, I air my tires up to about 10 to make it easy to load on the trailer, to go down the road, and to unload the tractor. And then I drop them down to about 6.5 before I go over the scale. And Chris saw me doing this a couple of pulls ago. When I pull out the valve core, and the thing is blowing air, but then it starts whistling at you. And when it starts whistling, I know the pressure is just about 7 pounds. And so you get just past the whistle and you put the valve stem back in, and you know that you're right at 6.5 pounds.
Got it dialed in, boy.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
And I could hear it too. And I'm like, he goes, yep, there it is. Right
There it is.
there
Oh,
That's awesome.
experience right there.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's years of experience right there.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep. Pretty awesome.
that's awesome.
I haven't seen Nick do that, though.
That sort of
Or
sounds like the Ducks progressive air.
Oh, yeah, in Elko that one year. Yeah, my front tire was the valve stem broke on the tube. And so
And your progressive air.
So we siliconed it up and left it on a jack until I got ready to pull. And then we just put like 30 pounds of air in the tire. The left front.
There it goes.
Went on the track, back at the sled, won the pull, went down and got to the back of the trailer and the tire was flat.
That's awesome. That's what, I can't believe that worked.
In my
We
little
actually
sport Progressive tire pressure.
We unbolted the air compressor from my flatbed to be able to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. We had the air compressor right there, so we could just
That is
Air up.
awesome.
go.
That is awesome.
That sounds like a Ford guy. Air leak,
Right.
oil leak.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
got
yeah,
it.
that
You know what
wasn't
I
all
mean?
we had. Fuel
Oh,
leaks.
you won, right?
Yeah, it was a mess, but we won the pool, so I was like, all right,
Hey, right
Yep.
on. That's
It
awesome.
worked.
it worked. Yeah. Yep. Good times and good
That's
help
funny.
from the guys. You know, they jumped right in there and
Mm.
they knew I was all flustered. I was like, oh no.
Man, that's one thing I love about the Pullen family. Gosh dang. I mean, we were on our way to Ukiah and I blew a head gasket in my truck and there was several calls. People wanted to come over, get the trailer truck. I'm like, man, that's really awesome. Very
Yeah.
appreciative of that. Good family, good people. Everybody wants to help. That's awesome.
You
Yeah.
know, we talk about that almost every show. I think that comes up from someone different every time, and it's
That's cool.
everyone is always out there to help you out. Yeah, it's
Yep.
pretty neat. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Amen.
yeah.
Amen. Yep.
Amen to
Well,
that.
we got two. They're Fords. They're hurt this year, and these guys have come to the last two polls, and their trucks haven't been there. But they've come to the polls to come just hang out and be with everybody else and help pit crew, if you will, everyone else's trucks and stuff. And it's just that's who does, what other sport does that? I mean, it's pretty cool. It's pretty neat. Yeah.
No, not really. Most of them are cutthroat, I
Right.
mean, that's not
Yeah.
being mean, but just, a lot of guys are out there to win no matter what. And
Yeah.
it's good to have a group that just wants to see you get out there on the track,
Yeah.
so we can all put the show on. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Really
You had to put the Ford thing in there, didn't you?
Well, I'm not lying. They're Fords. I mean, they're both Fords.
Yeah, but I mean, you just had to turn it a little bit.
Yeah, there's probably like 3 or 4 Fords if they're broken, if you really want to get technical. But I mean, I'm just saying.
Your truck should be called half breed too, kid. You got an International with the damn Chevrolet in it.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. I got a
I
Ford.
don't know which way it's going.
Yeah. It's so confused.
Yeah, the next poll I'm going to show up with a Ford with a Chevy in it, Tony
Yeah.
with a Dodge.
Yeah,
There you
yeah,
go.
yeah,
How's
yeah.
that?
Yeah,
He's all got them all.
half breed's all cockeyed too. I mean, it's just,
That's how I live, man.
Yeah. Oh, that's so funny.
it's all good.
Yeah.
But then you got a guy like Larry
I
Lopes.
can't put it up on the screen, but Humphrey said he's got your back.
He's
Yeah.
got my back. Okay. Awesome.
What was that, Nick?
I said I couldn't put it up
I
on the
said,
screen,
you got a
but
guy like Larry Lopes that
Humphrey
he's
said
there
he's got
all
your
the time,
back,
just helping anybody
Chris.
that needs it.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, Larry's awesome.
Yeah. Larry is amazing.
Yep.
Yep. So, Mark and Nick, do you guys ever if you would put a V12 in that thing and run better or something like that, or you don't pick on each other for having different?
No.
No, I don't. We don't pick on each other.
No. Yeah. Right.
No, never.
You know what's cool is to see how many more tractors are pulling out on the West Coast now. You see a lot more. Even the smokers, it seems like there's more of them showing up than there was before. It seemed like the early
Yeah.
'80s there
Thank
was
you,
quite
Brian.
a bit, but yeah, that's pretty cool to see all of them out now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's definitely more. What do they call that? What's the class Spielman is in?
Oh, Super Farm,
Hot farm.
Hot Farm, yeah, Hot Farm.
farm
There's
yeah.
a few more of those that have showed up, and
Hot farm.
yeah, a few more of those have showed up and make that class go a little bigger.
Right.
Yeah, Joe's got that green tractor, right? The what the heck? Yeah, that one's pretty cool too.
I got to hand it to you, truck guys, because you have a class for almost everybody.
Right. No kidding. That's so true.
I mean, just you name it, and you got a class for it.
Yep.
Run
Yeah.
what you brung, baby.
Remember they had the OMG class, which was a truck class that weighed 8,000 pounds, whatever.
Over 8,000. Yeah, it was over.
Yeah, over 8,000 was OMG class.
Uh,
Dave Matthews was always about OMG class. Here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Al Thomas had those too, the OMG class.
We had one this week in the poll we were at this weekend. They had an OMG class. Yeah. Had a
Yeah.
school bus in it with broken windows.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Anything, whatever came off the road, man, there's over 8,000 pounds. They'll pull it, hook it to the sled.
Man, one year Ukiah's guy showed up with a Winnebago and it still had the hibachi barbecue.
Yeah.
on it. You know, he just went out. That thing fell off about half crack, but
Oh,
it
that's
was cool to watch.
Yep.
That's funny. Awesome.
One year in Tenasket, the guy brought a school bus out, and all of us idiot drivers, we all put our helmets on. At least we were smart enough to put our helmets on, and we all got in the bus, and we were all in the back of the bus to try and get it to pull a wheelie. It was light. It never got off the ground, but they were pretty light. But man, did we have fun!
Oh, man, that sounds awesome.
I'm sure the insurance company was just closing their eyes, man. Like, oh my god, hey, we had helmets on. I mean, we're safe.
You guys should have stripped all the weights off your truck and just started throwing them in the back.
Right? Exactly.
Everybody's done pulling, just stack everything in the back.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have done anything with Ingham's weights. He's got all aluminum ones, so.
Hey, that wasn't me. I know, John Shipman's gone, rest his soul. He was a good dude. I like John, but he's got a really good story about the Cow Palace with Joe Plumer and those guys that came out from the Midwest when they ran the supermod class at the Cow Palace with the aluminum weights.
Mhm.
They scaled with one set and then went out on the track with another. So
No way.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
that's what I know. I'm probably gonna get some text messages, something about it.
no.
But yeah, I remember Ron Mealing telling me that story about those guys that actually that was when that's how John Shipman got the nickname Mad Dog.
Oh, yeah.
He went after those guys.
Uh.
I guess it was Saturday night, one night at the Cow Palace, because he found out they were hanging aluminum weights after they'd weigh in on the scale, because you know how big the Cow Palace is.
Yeah.
Nobody was really watching, so they'd go and get their 6,200-pound weight, and they'd get ready to go back in the arena because everybody had to stay outside, and they'd start swapping weights around.
No way. If you have to cheat, then what's the point?
There's no point. Yeah.
Oh, Bruce McClintock, I heard, was good at that too with Tinker Toy.
Hey, Tinker Toy,
Yeah.
Chico.
Tinker Toy was amazing.
Yeah.
I got to have 4 9-inches in that thing, man, and he made those
Series.
money in those.
Yeah.
axles.
9 series, yeah.
Man,
And big Ford motors, 700 inches plus.
Yeah.
he did USHRA for a while, and he was out there with guys with Brute Force, Jim Roach and those guys, and then Quelo, and there was several of them that went out there and ran that USHRA stuff for a while.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was that a pretty short track in there in the arena?
Oh, yeah. It was like 130 feet long or something. It was.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Dallas, yeah, it wasn't very long.
Yeah, Borba brought those guys out, man. And he had banners. John Heilman, Engler came out.
Yeah.
Man, a bunch of the Midwest, East Coast guys came out, and I mean, those guys, the way they pulled,
Yeah. Well,
they weren't doing a lot of indoor stuff, but they had the weight set up pretty good. But that track was so soft. I remember hearing a couple guys say it was so soft that they.
they hauled it in. The rest of it was concrete. They just hauled in like 2 feet of dirt on top of the. They probably got it from the beach.
They used to do that. Yeah, no kidding.
Probably sand.
Yeah, we used to see. That's one of the Fords I'm talking about. He's been amazing, by the way. But they used to do that up in the Portland Coliseum, and they bring the dirt in. And then I remember this. If I heard the story right, I was pretty young, but they would haul that dirt, and there was a lot that they allowed them to store it at, and they'd store it and cover it for the whole year, and they'd use the same dirt every year at the truck pull, and they'd haul it all in. And but that's pretty cool. I remember seeing Strode's boss blow up inside the Coliseum. It was pretty impressive. Yeah, pretty impressive.
Yeah. You don't see that much anymore. It just costs too much money to haul in the dirt and then haul it out. The show's done,
Yeah. They store the dirt and use the same exact dirt every year.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
No. Oh, sorry, John. Every time he's up, he misses it. Oh well. Jason, tell us about when you picked up Half Breed and the process you went through to restore it.
Well, we had to beat a snowstorm. When I found out it was for sale, my brother's ex-father-in-law seen. He said, "I found this red Econoline on the internet for sale. It's up in Oregon, called Half Breed." I'm like, "Yeah, there's no way that thing's still around." And I ended up getting a hold of the guy. Jamie Ford is the guy that had it, and he'd actually bought it from a guy that John Harris sold it to in Central Point, and he had a hot rod motorcycle shop, and he was going to use it kind of as like a promotion vehicle, drive around, haul the stuff. He didn't realize it was a pulling truck. Well, he bought it and realized what it was and just shoved it out in the field. Well, the weekend that me and my brother were planning on going up to get it, my brother had broke his tailbone because he worked at juvenile hall then. He was a correctional officer. And I figured I was going by myself. He's like, "Man, I'm going. We're going to get that thing. We got pictures of that truck when we were kids. We're going to get it." So
That's
we just
awesome.
made it up over the Cascades and got down into, and it was in Applegate, Oregon, which is east of Medford or west of Medford.
Mm-hmm.
And showed up there. Jamie Ford, this guy, man, this unbelievable guy. Looking at some of his work, the guy built dragsters and had some fuel altereds and just his collection of parts. I was actually not thinking a Half Breed at the time because I'm looking at all his clone Hemis and all. Like, dude, where'd you get all this stuff, man? This is great. But anyways, by the time we got the truck loaded, I think we left Lakeport at 4 a.m. Got up there, got it loaded. And we just started going up over the Cascades, heading down the hill, and it just started snowing. And we get down the bottom, and we hit some snow. I had a 4-wheel drive dually then, and we were doing okay and kind of slipping a little bit. My brother starts seeing right outside Wairika, "Hey, there's Liquor Barn. We got to pull over there, man. That snowstorm scared me." I'm like, "What?" "Okay, well, let's pull into Liquor Barn." Well, we pulled into Liquor Barn, and this guy followed us down the hill, and I don't know how or why he's seen us hauling the truck, but he had pictures of Half Breed from Medford.
Oh,
No
wow.
way.
Yeah, I don't know if he got him. He's seen us leaving town. He's like, "Man, that's so cool. You guys got this truck."
Yeah.
There's some pictures, and I still have I wish I had them right there in my closet, but I could put them on. But yeah, so we ended up getting it home, and then it was about 3 years. We tore everything apart and redid everything. And my first pull was Lakeport when Brian showed up here. I think that was in 08, around there, somewhere like that. And of course, I set it up in my mind like I remember as a kid. So I put all the weights on the back. Put that thing up, get off the line. I'm straight up in the air going, "Oh God, now what?" Okay. I can't see, so I kind of feathered it out a little bit, but yeah, it was a great experience just to get it going again. And we've been having a lot of fun with it. Look forward to more. Just keep messing with it. I changed the hitch a little bit from the last pull and finally got the brakes to where I can tap them now. Donnie Fagundes gave me some good calipers and
Nice.
so just keep playing
awesome.
around. Yeah.
Well, Mark and Nick know how to steer them things up in the air like that.
Yes, they do, and they haul ass too.
Yeah.
I've seen them both. They
Yeah.
get down. Yeah.
You can
I'll
give
get there, guys, soon.
give you some.
Oh man, we love watching the progression, man. It's been awesome. It's been awesome. Yeah.
Shows me how many reasons why I don't want a 2-wheeler.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it looks cool from the sidelines, but
Yeah.
Well, like Mark and Nick, they make it look easy. I'm slowly getting there, but yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's one of those learning things because one real hard tap on the brake screws everything up that I'm learning. So,
Seat time. That's all it's gonna get you.
yeah.
Those needle bearings in the differential make a huge difference. When I first built my tractor, it didn't have any needles in the rear end, and it was a real bear cat to try to steer with it. And I built a hydraulic pump, a DC hydraulic pump accumulator setup, so it would charge the accumulator to about 2,500 psi, and then I had switches on the brake pedals.
Wow.
you'd want to go one way, you just tap that pedal and it would dump full accumulator pressure to that caliper. And that actually, man, it worked really.
I bet.
Really good.
Yeah.
But then I went ahead and got all the stuff from Tim Engler. Again, I can't say enough good things about that guy. He was so helpful. I did all the machine work myself.
Awesome.
To his specifications, and I had to learn how to drive that tractor all over again, because it kind of would take care of itself. It might veer a little bit one way, and then you just don't panic. It took me a year to decide not to panic, and a lot of times the damn thing would straighten itself out all by itself. It's the needle bearing. That's the best thing.
Yeah, but I just got that put in, so I did the needles on on the spiders and the cross. So I'll try it out in Santa Rosa, see how it goes.
Cool.
Oh, it'll make a big difference, man. Trust
Right
me.
on.
Yeah.
I've been telling him for years to just put a transfer case in it and make it a 4-wheel drive.
Right.
He says he's not ready to go there yet.
No, I do everything the hard way. I got to do it the hard way. I don't want. Yeah, that's
I think Half-Breed would look really cool as a 4-wheeler.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, there was a couple that were around like that, man. There was a guy from Indiana had that one that was a Twister, was a Jeep that looked like, kind of like a Econoline that was a super modified. He had 2 of them. But yeah, Jim Haynes.
See, guys just remember his names.
Sorry.
You're fine. You're fine.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Wish I did.
Well, one thing with Jason, one thing with Jason is I remember whenever my brother bought 3D in 2014, the first phone call I heard was from Jason going, "Okay, you got it. You're on record." He keeps a record on where every truck is at.
Yep.
And it's all right there.
I got a list. I still got a list. In fact, there was another truck I just found out last week that I've been hunting down for a long time, that found out it got scrapped, but it was called the Animal. It was from Arcata. It was a 74 Chevy step side that the lumber mill owned up there. They pulled it for about 8 years, something like that. And I didn't realize it sat up there on the side of the building for that long, but yeah, it finally got scrapped. But they had a 482 stroker motor in that truck. But yeah, it was originally called Stumper. And you guys remember Dave Knowles that had Willie Make It?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dave knew that truck. And it ended up changing hands. And the guy that owned it was from Blue Lakes, California, up there, logging country. And it ended up getting cut up, unfortunately. But can't save them all, but it's good to see a lot of guys still try and keep them going. Guess your guys' truck been around since 79 or 80 or something?
Yeah, right on 80. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yep.
Did that California Hustler truck ever sell up there?
I wish we were closer. I could drive down and take a pit. Still sitting on the side of Old Redwood Highway.
Really?
Yeah. It's underneath a covered building, but yeah, it's he never sold it. Yeah, it's still sitting there, man. Got a 482 Rodec in it. New tires, all this stuff. I mean, the tires aren't even cut. They're the old Dick C-Pec, so it's sitting up on jack stands.
Sure, they're all dry rotted right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still sitting there.
You see any old tractors?
Now, Jason, there was one that I want to say is out of San Jose area. It was an old 70s Ford. I'm trying to remember what the name of it had. It had I want to say it had wood slats down the side of the bed.
That was Sudden Death.
Yeah, Sudden Death. Yep. You saw it, John.
Yeah, that truck, I don't know. That truck disappeared. I don't know what happened to that. I actually talked to a couple guys down there because, the guy that had Second Wind before Chet bought it, his dad had Midnight Express, which was that black Ford that was down there, and they were buddies.
Yeah, I remember that one. Midnight
Yeah.
Express. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, Justin Labuski was the guy that owned Sudden Death. He was from San Jose, weightlifting guy. He pulled in the early '80s. Mark, Nick, you guys might remember him.
I do remember Justin. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that was a good. He had a fuel injected, I think, side oiler 427.
Yeah,
It
the
always
427
ran good.
crank.
Yeah,
I made it 460 something. But
Dude,
yeah,
That thing
That-
screamed. I remember that truck.
yeah, he screamed.
right
yeah.
on. Yeah, he was a weightlifting guy. So instead of having the suitcase weights, he had just the 25-pound bench press
Dumbbell.
weight
Yeah,
bar on the front. You know.
that's awesome.
There.
Then there was one out of Livermore, a black Ford out of Livermore too. I thought it ran the same type of engine actually. The 427 side loader with the 428 crank. Screaming Demon, I think was his name.
Screaming Demon, yeah, that was actually John Shamaro that had Second Wind. That was his dad's truck.
Oh, okay. They had
Yeah.
a four-wheel drive shop down there in Livermore. Or something.
Yep. In fact, that truck got cut up. I remember John telling me that. But yeah, that thing had a fuel injected Ford in it too.
Yeah.
It had those old 15 by 12 slot mags you can't get no more. Same with Gold Rush, old from Oregon. Same wheels on that thing too. I don't know if those guys had those made, but they're pretty rare.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So, that's all I got. You guys got questions?
Whatever
Yeah,
happened to Ribero's trucks?
Okay, so
Whatever happened with Ribero's?
one of them's in Florida. Because Dave had Meredith Spare and One Trick Pony.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Californian was the last one he built, was that 88 or 89 Chevy that was
That
orange.
one's in Pennsylvania. I know that.
Yeah, that's on the East Coast.
Yeah.
And then, what the heck's the guy's name? He's a mud bog guy that his mom and dad, he's from down there where you guys are from, Mark. I think it's from San Luis Obispo, but somewhere down there. They were good friends with Ribero's. They said One Trick Pony went back to Florida, and then Meredith Spare, which was the other blue 84 Chevy, supposedly is still in Salinas or something.
Oh wow. Huh. That'd be cool.
Yeah, Jason Rivas is the guy's name. His mom was
Uh,
Hazel Rivas, had a mud bogger that was called Thumper. Was a narrowed body Chevy truck, with an injected big block in it. They were from down there, Salinas area.
Hmm.
But yeah, they were good friends, I guess, of the family.
Yeah, they were good running trucks.
Steely was just asking if you knew whatever happened to Coelho's two-wheel drive Corvette.
Two-wheel drive Corvettes in Minnesota.
Minnesota.
That's supposedly that's where it went. And then the other guy bought
Rabbit.
yeah.
Yeah, that's pulling on asphalt up in
Jackrabbit.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, Wisconsin. Yeah. Yeah, but supposedly the Corvette went back to Minnesota.
Huh.
Only reason I know that, I didn't talk to anybody, but I've seen some pictures online that somebody had that vet and said it was from California. Tried to email the guy, talk to him, but never got nothing back. But yeah, most all the two-wheel drives in California went away a long time ago.
Yeah.
Now the tractor guys are taking over, and they're cool. I like it.
You gotta have to break up the show,
Well, at one time, we had a lot of two-wheel drives out here. You had Dream T, you had White Lightning,
Desperado.
you had all kinds of two-wheel drives out here for a long time.
There was probably 18 or 20 just from Turlock, Modesto area. I mean, Shipman had 3 of them, and then Marston's, Dennis, and Dwayne. They had Black Attack, had Power Play, and then Desperado. Yeah, White Lightning. There was
Ted Rosen had a couple too.
yeah, Dream Tea.
All right.
Al
love
Thomas ended up buying that for a year or two. I don't know what happened after that, but yeah, there was a whole bunch. And then
Strode stuff and
Stroke had a bunch. They had some killer stuff.
Rosen had a bunch too.
Business and the Tea Time
Tea
truck
Time.
around. Yeah.
Boss. Yeah.
Ford power, baby.
Yep.
Yep. And then there was those dudes from there was a couple guys from Burbank. That guy had Aftershock, and then there was that crazy guy from the desert that had the Wanderer, which was that purple funny car. What the heck was his name? Mark, do you remember? It was a purple.
I'm trying to remember those guys from down there. The name's slipping my mind right now.
Yeah, they were out.
We
in
got Greer
Dickinsville.
Hamilton that was down there.
Greer Hamilton. Yeah.
Had funny cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, Greer.
Yeah,
Well, I remember I was pretty young, but I remember flagging at Grants Pass, and there was a guy that came in with a semi, and he had like 3 or 4 blown two-wheelers, and they were all, I want to say they were all bucket type style cars. But I remember flagging at Grants Pass, and that's when before, they tried to keep the front ends down, they actually stood up. And I remember standing there, how they had that walkway, the wall behind there by the track, and I'm standing up against that and looking at the undercarriage of this two-wheeler going, I don't even know why I'm standing here, It's like, but it was a semi, and he stacked, I think, 4 of them in there. If I remember.
Really?
I only saw him like once or twice is all. So I don't know where he was from, if he was from back east or whatever, but his trucks were pretty wicked, that's for sure.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's East Dragon and
Yeah.
but
Barbara Cosell. Yeah.
Barbara Kazel and her husband had the funny car for a while.
Yeah. They had the minivan too for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they were from Idaho, weren't they?
Yeah. Nampa,
yeah.
Nampa, Idaho. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I can remember, in my recollection, the whole idea behind the first two-wheel drive guys, it was just to do a wheel stand down the track. It really wasn't. It wasn't a pulling contest. It was more of an exhibition thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's why those guys, 32-inch hitch height,
Yeah.
32 inches.
Yeah. You gotta get that front end up,
Yeah. Yeah.
And I can remember Ted Rose, and of course his setup was just gorgeous. And you had to open, because these were the days back when I was a student at Cal Poly, and I was the hooker, right?
Mhm.
And he had a trap door on the
Yeah,
back.
you have
of
to
that
open
thing.
it to hook it. Yeah.
You had to flip that up in order to see where the hitch was. And there were too many people that didn't know that, and they'd hook to the safety hitch down below.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that actually happened to Steve Lanazio this last weekend. Got hooked to the wrong hitch.
Yeah.
To the tricky hitch.
So I put a piece of tape over that unless they got a safety hitch for you. Safety chain, yeah.
He did the next night.
I
Yeah.
just tape a $10 bill on mine.
Yep.
They know which one to get. They grab the pen, put the hook.
Yep.
Wait for somebody to steal your truck.
Yeah, exactly.
Teaser in it.
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome.
Cool.
Awesome, guys.
Yeah.
Good show. Thanks for
coming on.
being with us.
Yeah.
Right on. Thank you,
Awesome
guys.
stuff.
Talking pulling steel wasn't that bad, Mark and Nick, was it? I mean,
Oh man, it's good.
Thanks for the invite. This was nice.
you
Yeah.
bet. You
Yeah,
bet.
thank you, guys.
Always.
Brings back a lot of memories for me.
Oh yeah. Oh, we will for sure.
Yeah.
Just try to get an hour or so show in, and
Well, we'd like to thank you guys for what you guys do for.
that's John Board to get a.
We got to get his internet fixed, man. And they pick on me about my internet.
I know, huh?
I
2 weeks.
don't think I freeze that much.
Yeah, he was horrible tonight. But don't forget, Winnemucca.
We
Coming up.
thank you guys. We thank you guys for including us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
Well,
Of course,
a lot of
we
times
try to
with
get.
yeah,
We get them from the north, from the south, from all over. So
yeah.
we try to
Yeah.
get everybody there we can. But thank you for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Yep.
Now
All
look
right,
forward
guys.
to seeing you guys.
Yeah.
Great. We'll see you down the road then.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
We'll see you in Winnemucca in a couple weeks.
Yep.
Right on.
See everybody in a couple weeks.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Not you, John. You're not coming.
Mopar guys, man. Mopar guys.